everybody, man. I got a lady on the channel tonight who's a regular because she always doing some amazing things. I told her something just a second ago. I'm going to tell you who my name is, but I got to get it. I told her something a second ago. I said, I got a lady that I interviewed a little while ago I'm releasing her video, and you will see it, who she's the most interesting person I met beside this lady. And it ain't a 1-2 type thing by no stretch of the imagination. The other lady she's a 95. Y'all got to watch that video. And so many others that is on the show here. I'm Anthony Brogdon, where, man, I ain't playing with y'all. I am loving strong inspirations. I ain't lying. And let me tell you something else. It really was by happenstance that I came into this because of COVID. And I was looking for something to do. And, book signings. You all know I got a book, everybody. Here it is, Black Business Book. It has become America's #1 Black business history book. There's no other book as thorough and easy to read and comprehensive as this. So you got to get you a copy of it, my friends. But and go to my website, businessintheblack.net, which is where you get a copy. Because I'm trying to cut the big man out. The Amazon man, he got enough money. And so do that. I'll ship it, within 24 hours, I promise you. And I'll autograph it for you, which is going to mean something one day. Watch. Because I'm jamming with strong inspirations. Oh, man. So having this sister on again, I'm super excited. And we went to the same high school. And she's a pillar of our community on top of that. She getting awards and everything like that. Y'all watch some of the other videos of her, and she kind of goes into that. But when she does something interesting, to come on the show, here we are. Hit the notifications bell for you get a ding, a shock, something to let you know there is new content on Strong Inspirations. Hit the like I said, hit the like button and tell somebody about us. All right. The numbers are up. I see we're growing every day with 1, 2, 3, 4 subscribers, but we need to, and I want to grow even more so that more people hear the stories like what this sister's going to share with us. All right, so do that, my friends. I'm speaking around the country. I will be in Columbus, Ohio in the next 3 weeks. And then from there, in the end of the start of the year, I'm in Florida, speaking at universities. I like that university component. And they get, you're going to get a solid crowd, whatever. And so a lot more of that's happening in my life, and I'm excited about it. So thank you for that. Now, let's see, what else? You hear me use this term strong a lot. Strong is my favorite word. I'm going to keep using that. And in my world, strong stands for strength, tenacity, resilience, and a sense of oneness, nobility, and grace. And that is my introduction to the strong sister on the channel today. Come on, introduce yourself. Let's get it on once again.
Wow. Thank you. Or actually, let me say, Asante Sana.
Yeah.
Let me speak African to African. Thank you for such a warm introduction. And thank you for all that you do. I've been following you, and every time I look up, you're in New York, you're in Mississippi, you're here, you're there, and then all around the city of Detroit. And I said, I can't keep up with this man. And then my schedule has been packed, but I said before the end of the year, I will come out and support you 1 or 2 times. Because my schedule has slowed down, so that gives me time to do more things. And I just really thank you for, I think we met in February of this year. And since that time.
Yeah, that's right.
Since that time, you opened up the blessings. It was like you were a portal to blessings to be poured out upon me. Because since that time, and since the last time we actually talked and met, I have accumulated 2 more titles. And I never.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna get into all that. Now you flowing. But again, I still got to do this just a tad, and I do it. You know what I mean? I got to let my audience get to know you. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in the D.
In Detroit. All right, and 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 then as a result of that, as a young child, did you travel? Where did the travel bug catch in on you?
Well, I began to travel myself once I became an adult.
Yeah,
My first travels to Africa came when I was in college. I was a student at Wayne State University in the undergrad program of Africana Studies, which
yeah.
fairly recently had their plaque unveiled at the former student union on Wayne State's campus a couple of Saturdays ago. So I was
Hmm.
glad to go and represent one of the students that actually graduated from that studying that took place in the 80s. So
Okay.
so it
Now,
was
now, let me stay on that. You say Africa, but again, I'm gonna go back. As a kid, did you travel?
as a kid, I traveled via dreams and visions.
Really?
And in those dreams and visions, they began to become manifest when I began to actually physically travel. And in my travels, I can truly say that I have gone to places that I dreamed of when I was a child, having no idea that these places were actually located in Africa at the time I had a dream. I had no, they were dreams. I had no one to coach me about dreams or teach me how to read the symbols of dreams or understand what my ancestors were saying to me in the dreams until I began to travel and the manifestation of the dreams came into full fruition.
All right. Let me stay on this. I'm gonna stay with the Detroit tip. Detroit, for the most part, is not an international city. I mean, it's not like a lot. I mean, we have other nationalities here. Did you meet somebody from another nationality that made you have an introduction to the world?
No, when I went to college, I had gone immediately after high school,
Right.
and I think I did a year and a half, and I dropped out because I really
Understand.
wasn't focused. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I got married, started having my children, then my husband passed, and I said, "Well, I'm going back to school." I still didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So when I met with my counselor, that was Dr. Ella Joyce, I mean Dr. Ella Davis, and she said, "Well, I teach an intro to African studies class." She said, "Why don't you come and take this class and see how you like it?" Within the first 30 minutes of being in that class, I said, "Yes, this is my major." And that is what I have pursued from that moment on.
Okay, let me stay on this on the dreams. How do you did you read a book about Africa?
No, when I first started dreaming, I was 6 years old. And I didn't know anything about Africa other than Tarzan swinging from the trees. I had no knowledge, no nothing about Africa actually until I took that class. I think that was 1996.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
In 1997, I was in a classroom with Professor Abel Hutchful, and he led a study abroad, a independent study class in African studies. And so we went the summer of 1997, and we covered 5 different countries. And
So was that the first time you were on an airplane?
oh no, that wasn't the first time I
Oh,
was
okay,
there. We
okay.
traveled. We went to Disney World.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, yeah. But still, I guess what I'm getting at, there might be hesitation on some people because of the long flight and not knowing what to expect. You didn't have that.
No, I didn't have any hesitation at all. I welcomed it. It to me, it was an unexplored frontier. It was coming back to myself, coming back to my people. And I remember the first time I was preparing for that trip, my grandmother said, "I am too old to go to Africa. I always wanted to go, but I know I will not go." And she said, "But when you go, I want to be able to see Africa through your eyes. And because of that, I went out and I bought me a Pentax camera. And at that time, they had 35 millimeter film. I bought 100 rolls of film. And I just went around Detroit just shooting pictures. And I think I messed up about 80 rolls of film until I got them right. And so when I went on the first trip, we were there 30 days, 5 different countries. And when I came back, I showed my professors my pictures. And the first thing they said is, we have to put it on exhibit. So by that December, we did a photo exhibit of my pictures. And then someone said, these pictures need to be in the museum. So I contacted the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History at that time, and I told them that I wanted to do an exhibit, and I went through the application process. And 2 years later, I was on exhibit.
Really?
Those pictures, yes. And
Now,
they said that of all the artists that have put their collections on deposit, that I ranked in the top 10% of the artists. And the only thing I heard was artist. I never considered myself an artist.
yeah, sure.
I was a historian. I am a historian. Yes. So to wear the title of artist, that wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to fulfill my grandmother's wish, and that is to allow her to see Africa through my eyes.
So I'm gonna stay on that then. What did you take pictures of? A lot of times, I mean, they people don't take just regular shots. They, people posing and all that other stuff. And I've always said I like candid shots. Was that a part of your motivation of people walking up and down the street and that kind of thing?
Yes. I caught pictures of everyday life, the people, the culture, the food, the landscape, the dances. Excuse me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I tried to capture everything. And there's one picture that I actually gave a name to, and it's called Ernie's Bear. And the reason why I call it Ernie's Bear is because we were on a safari, and we had been out there for 4 hours, and we never seen one animal. And so as the group started grumbling and complaining, they said, well, let's go. We're hungry. There's no animals here. And as we were about to exit the park, this man named Ernie, he said, look, I see a bear. And I had camera ready. I captured it. And it was a male lion.
No, so what? No bear.
Right. And that's one of the photos that was on deposit at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, Ernie's Bear.
Let me ask you this. What are the ill-conceived notions of Africa that most Americans have? Would you say?
They don't like us. They don't want us over here. That whole divide and conquer message that we have been fed. And then the other idea and notion that Africans have that we're lazy and we don't want to come home.
Really?
Yes.
But then also there's the notion that, and I know you get this, and I've heard this as I've talked to people, that we all think that it's not a real good cities landscape, you know what I mean, and those kind of things too.
I think that is rural. Nothing but lions and tigers and bears roaming around, and everybody lives in mud huts. There's no electricity. There's no telephone. There's no modernization. And even individual, I was doing a FaceTime very similar to this, and that's via the internet, right? And the person asked me, they said, do they have the internet?
Yes.
And I said, aren't we talking on the internet right now?
Oh, so they were that far gone. Yeah.
Right. I was in Africa and they were in the US, and we're conversing, and they wanted to know, did they have the internet? Yes, they have everything that we have. And what I tell people is that They have everything and we have in more, in abundance. And the way they do things is just simply different than the way we do things. And the hardest thing for Americans to do is to shed off that cult of imperialism. We hate it as African Americans. We hate imperialism, but we're in an imperialistic society. And so wherever we go, we carry that spirit of imperialism with
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
us. Having the idea that the way we do things is the best way, is the only way, and it
Oh,
should be
yes.
done our way. And I'll give you an example. I
Yes.
just recently came off of a tour, and the individual ordered a chicken sandwich. Okay, and so they they prepared it their way, the way they know how to prepare a chicken sandwich, and they brought it to the American individual. And the American individual was like, "Well, don't you know how to just make it into, a breast patty and this?" No, the way they made it, they took the chicken and they cut it up into chunks and added some salad dressing. It was more like chicken salad on a bun.
Oh,
So instead of them understanding that when you say chicken sandwich, this is what you're going to get, they figured that they should, by osmosis, know how Americans want their chicken sandwiches.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, okay. That was a little something. They just prepared it a little differently. How about this one? Um, in America, we downplay each other, black folks, and in particular, like we downplay black-owned business. Man, I've been to that restaurant. The service wasn't good. I had a guy come to do something around the house. He didn't come on time. He didn't finish the job. We hear, and I've said this about white folks too. Now, come on, but we hear this. We say that about each other. Do you? And even one of the more common ones is that CP time type scenario. We always gonna be late. Is that similar when in Africa? Do you kind of get that? Are they as professional as we would expect? Is there CP time, so on and so forth?
Well, one of the things that I learned, and I'll just talk about the central region of Cameroon. In the West, you have definite time. When it comes
In
to
the West here in America or there? What are you talking
in the West, in America,
about? Okay. All
and,
right.
and you're taught to be on time, because if you don't get there on time, if you're taking a plane, it's going to leave you.
Yeah.
On a cruise, they will leave you. But in
Yeah.
Africa, they see time as a tool, meaning that they don't work for time as here in the West. We work for time in the West. In the East, time works for us. So if they say that there's a gathering at 6 o'clock, when everybody gets there at 9, that is the time. So
So
you
that is CP time to the extreme.
you would think so, but their thing is that this is the time. And this is one of the things that I discussed with my husband. Time is a tool. And one of the things that I noticed in Africa, with all of this, what you call CP time, everything is done in time. So I'll give you a common example.
Explain that one. Yeah.
Say you have 10 things that you want to do today. In America, time will run out. You might get to 7 of those things, because there may be variables like traffic, excessively long lines. Things will happen that you're not able to complete your list. Well, in Africa, and like I said, I talked to my husband about this, and time, remember, time is a tool. So if you have a list of 10 things that you want to get done, no matter how you perceive yourself being late, seem like time will expand And at the end of the day, everything that you decided to do gets done. Now, you still had long lines, you still had traffic, you still had everything that you would have encountered in the West. But time as a tool, time will make room for you to get everything done. And that's why the Africans have that laissez faire type attitude with time, because they know everything will be complete if you are listing it, and time will work with you. So you'll have everything complete.
All
And
right.
even like we have the 4 seasons, right? And they're neatly divided every 3 months it
Yeah.
changes season.
Right.
Well, in Africa they have 2 seasons, okay? And what happens is they have a on their calendar, if the growing season is a little longer, and say the growing season is in February. In the West, February has 28 days. Well, in Africa, if February needs 90 days to complete its season, it's still February for 90 days.
Oh, really?
Yes. Time is a tool.
All right. Let me just go back to your early example. If I threw a party and I told you to be at 6 and I told you the party was over at 9, then what happens if you get there at 9? Do I got to keep going or what happens?
Most likely, what happens is if it's an African throwing the party, most people are going to get there at 9, and that is when the party is going to start.
And I got to stay till 11 to tell them, hey, when I told them it was going to be over at 9.
If you are African, it's understood. It's a common agreement. It's understood that party, if it's a real party, that party is not going to end till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, well, party is another. Okay, let's say I got a business meeting.
Okay.
How does that work in terms of time? We supposed to meet at the bank, and the bank gotta close at some point.
Right.
How does that work, maybe?
Well, what usually happens, they speed up the time. They will get there, make it happen. They will wait until that business is conducted.
Did you find that like was the service a very good service
We had
when you went to the
excellent
restaurants and stuff like that?
we have had excellent service, and if I can make a comparison, um, when I went to Ghana in 1997, you may expect to wait 2 hours or more to get a meal. This time around, I would say they've cut that down to maybe 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. But uh, they have increased their time of delivery. So I have seen that great change over the years.
Is there racism among Africans? Now, I'm not talking about in terms of Europeans that live there. I'm talking in terms of just I'm a black person, African, you're a black person. Is there some form of racism in that
I
dynamic?
won't say that there's racism, but more what they would call tribalism or classism.
Okay.
Like if you're from one tribe or the other, there may be preferential treatment from one tribe to the other. Definitely, there's stereotypes among the tribes, and I'm saying tribe, but
Yeah.
ethnic groups.
Yes.
There are differences between them, like they say with the is it the Bamileke people. They say if you see a nice neighborhood, nice car, everybody nice to me. Oh, those are Bamileke people because they love money. All these stores, these are businessmen or businesswomen of Bamileke. Uh,
Oh,
if you see um, mm, how could I say it? People that love to socialize, then they say, well, that's, the Bassa people. They're known for that type of energy. So each ethnic group has a particular personality that others can identify them by.
Yeah. I had a guy from Africa on the show, and he said one of the things that also a characteristic not of Africans and Americans is how fast we move. I think that's what he was saying. Like we jerk a little bit more, we talk faster, or with more hand motion. Is there something to that that you've noticed that they can tell the difference?
Oh, definitely. Um, some groups, particularly the Ghanaians are very docile. They're low spoken. They talk very low. You have to
Oh,
lean in to
really?
listen. And they are not excitable. Like we're excitable, we exude a lot of
Yeah.
energy.
Yes.
They're very calm and calming, actually. And they pull you into their state of calmness with their demeanor. So rarely, uh, even I had a situation where I seen American, and you better la 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 la.
Right.
That didn't even move them. And it's like, I'm sorry, sir, or I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm gonna get to it and just be patient.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this.
Okay. I had one lady who I forgot what she was from, but she also said that one of the ethnic groups, the women had big butts, and they could tell that they could tell the women because they had big butts. Have you heard of that
Yes,
in terms of stature?
every ethnic group has a different body formation.
Really?
Yes, yes, and it's clear. Um, for instance, South Africa. South Africa, they had the badonka badonka badonka. Okay,
The
and
women do what you're
the
saying.
women.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Really?
Yes, and then you'll find in Senegal the women are very tall and slender.
Oh.
um, Cameroon, Ghana, you'll find the shorter people, but they're thick in the waist.
Mm.
Nigerians, same thing, they're thick in the waist. And then you get the Rwandans where they're very thin in the waist. So
Oh, okay.
you have some people with the, broad nose. You have some
Yeah,
people with the nose that's, you can,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
some with the narrow nose. Those the Rwandans, they have the very narrow nose, and then you have people with the very wide nose that just kind of like goes all
yeah,
over.
yeah.
So each DNA group of people have very specific characteristics. The Senegalese, the Sudan, the Sudanese of Sudan, they are very tall and they're very, very dark. Then you have the people of Angola, South Africa, Cameroon. That's my color. Uh, Sort of medium in
Yeah,
complexion.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Sure,
then you
sure.
have some in South Africa. They're more of the tannish or the light
Yeah,
color.
yeah,
So the different ethnic groups have different colors,
yeah,
different heights, different widths.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is, is there um what about the hair? Is there different hair textures? I'm sure there is, but is that also defined by maybe the tribe or something like that?
yeah. Yes, the hair is different when you go from East Africa to West Africa. You notice a finer or thinner hair, or less coarse hair. West Central Africa tend to have a more coarse type hair.
Okay. Have women over there, and this is a two-part question. Have those who now are wearing their hair straight and long and got weaves in it, uh, has that taken off in Africa?
As far as braids are concerned, um, And yeah, in some countries, yes. Uh, if you can imagine, straightening the hair is in some countries just not an option because as soon as you straighten it, it'll be just back like this
Okay.
because of
Okay.
the heat and the
Okay.
humidity. So wearing wigs is a way to accentuate their style, or
Okay.
braids in different styles and different colors and things like that. So yes, they pretty much uh, style their hair many of the ways that we do here in the United States.
What is when we talk about it, and I know it's different for each country, some of the American traditions that they've adopted. Is there anything that you can
KFC, Popeyes, McDonald's, Stone Cold ice cream. We have
really?
adopted American um, fast food, and that
Oh,
really soured my tongue because I want to taste some good traditional solid food. And this time going, there was just an influx. Basically, KFC every so many miles, or a McDonald's or a Burger King or Popeyes.
really?
And
And it
what's
was 7-Eleven over there?
7-Eleven, Sabaros, a lot of our stores, popular food chains
Yeah.
and convenience stores were there.
Did you see in any one of your travels, and now we before that, and now we're gonna get into your last tour, any of them that there was a black owned business that had multiple locations, a black owned restaurant that could have been, had multiple locations, uh or black owned clothing, department store, anything like that had, like, say, multiple locations?
Well, it's a black country. It can't help but
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
uh, black owned stores and businesses. There's one uh, Ghanaian fast food, their version of fast food called Papaye's. When I first went, I think they had one or two stores, and now they have that store or that fast food chain all over. And Papaye's is fast food because we like things quickly
Yeah.
versus sitting down and waiting, 40,
Yeah.
50 minutes to get the food. Well, they prepared it and it's the same food that you would sit and wait for. So it's fast in that they produce it and have it waiting for you versus to order when you sit down in a restaurant. So you still can get a very good wholesome meal from Popeyes as a
Okay.
fast food restaurant as compared to an American style fast food restaurant, which is
Okay.
basically junk food.
Now, just recently, you did a tour to Africa. What? Tell us about it.
Yes, we did the DRP program, which is called the Diaspora Reconnection Program. And what that program is all about is taking individuals from the diaspora, and in this particular tour, they were all from Detroit. To We went to Turkey, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria for 16 days.
Now, is Turkey in Africa?
Turkey is not in Africa, but it became a part of our trip because we utilized Turkish Airlines, and we had an 11-hour layover, which we decided not to stay in the airport, but to actually go out and do a tour of Turkey. And we actually did a cruise down the Bosphorus Strait. And
Really?
the Bosphorus Strait is just like Detroit in Canada, where Europe is on one side of the water and Asia is on the other. So we were able to go down the Bosphorus Strait in Turkey and actually visit Asia as well as Europe.
Wow. So you say 11 hours. You wasn't pushing it though. I mean, how far was the airport? How did you get to do these things so quickly?
Well, at the airport they have transportation, and they have
Mhm.
tour guides that's just waiting to take you wherever you want to go, and
Okay.
they understand um, the way that the flights are structured. They have things that will take you out and get you back at the airport so you can make your next flight.
Yeah.
So
So,
we
but that was pretty good to see all that
It
quickly.
was. It was. And as many times as I have flown that particular airline, I've never had an 11-hour layover. One and two, that was the first time I actually went out into Turkey to see what it was all about.
Is that something? I know it's Turkish Airlines. Is that something they ordinarily do? Like when you fly from America to Africa, and I'm sure it depends on what part of Africa. Where did the plane usually stop off at?
It goes from Detroit Metro directly to Turkey. That's a 10-hour
Uh,
flight.
all right,
Then you have, for this particular flight, we had an 11-hour layover.
right,
Usually I have maybe a 3-hour layover.
yeah,
And if you ever been to Turkey and in that airport, one is a beautiful airport. And by the time you get off the airplane and walk through, it's time to get to your gate.
okay, I got you, I got you.
So this was the first time I had an extended stay. And so the group decided we want to go ahead and see what Turkey is all about.
So
And
then what happened? Where'd you go next?
well, we toured the city. They pointed out the cathedrals and different ancient spots in Turkey and the mosque and different things like that. And then we went on the boat tour, which was 3 hours. And we were able to see the coastline of Turkey in Asia as well as in Europe. So it was just a beautiful sight. And we watched the sun go down and
Hmm.
the water, the lights glistening over the water and the
Oh, I know
moon.
that was nice.
It was beautiful. It was
Yeah,
very, very beautiful because
yeah,
we had not planned it.
yeah,
So it was wow, we got 11 hours
yeah,
sit in the airport and they only post your flight 3 hours before takeoff. So it was
yeah.
we didn't even know what gate to go to. So we said, no, let's go ahead and tour Turkey. So we
Okay.
went and toured and we had a wonderful time. We had a
Now, so what time did you get to Turkey, and what time did the plane leave?
I can't remember.
Okay, okay.
I think it
So,
was I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning.
okay, okay, that's
And
what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we left like 11 o'clock that night,
I
something.
got you. So
Mhm.
then you leave Turkey and you fly to where?
We flew to Ghana.
All right. How long a flight is that?
That was 8 hours.
Oof.
And
All
now
right.
this one I do remember when we got to Ghana, it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
So you flew overnight. That made
Yes,
that work. Plus,
yes,
it's probably a little bit of a time difference there too.
yes.
Yeah, okay. So then you get to Ghana, and then um, do they take your luggage at some point? Your luggage is on the plane. It's got a carousel like it does in America. Is all that
Yes.
kind of the same and stuff like that?
Yes, you have to go through customs and show
Yeah.
your visas and all the things like that. And once you go through customs, once you're cleared through customs, then you go on and pick up your luggage at the carousel. And when we came out, we were greeted by several of my friends, and we had specially designed kente cloth that said that had the Sankofa bird on one shoulder, which means to go back and pick up the gems of the past, which is just like this here.
Hmm.
And on the other side, it said Africa. And then it said the DRP, which is the Diaspora Reconnection Program, and then ARHF, which is the African Roots and Heritage Foundation,
Oh my God,
2025.
that was beautiful. Now
Mhm.
you said you have pictures to show us.
Yes, I do.
All right.
So this is us first arriving in Ghana. Just a little short clip. And those are the kente cloth stoles that you can see here. So a kwaba. which means welcome. So we were able to get that captured for our group. And this is our group in front of the Black Star Monument, waving the Ghanaian flag and waving the flag of the African Roots and Heritage Foundation. Here we're at the Museum of W.E.B. Du Bois. He is interned there on the land. As you know, he was a great scholar. And whenever I go to Africa, I always pay my respects to him. And actually, I want to show you one other clip. And this is actually at the tomb of
the man that you were, the legacy that you built. And I began my own journey. And I have walked in those steps. And I understand what you gave to the world. I take the baton that you hand to me. And as I go into my age, I'm searching for that young man or young woman to give the baton to continue the legacy, to continue to rise up and fight for African unity, to develop self-love, to develop self-identity, to develop self-determination. And in the words of my grandmother, for us as a people to come back to ourselves. The power is ours, and the time is now. My Father, I thank you for the work that you have done. It gives me power, it gives me energy, and it gives me strength to continue. Again, Adwa.
That's at his tomb?
Until we meet again.
That's at his tomb?
Yes. He's entombed right there. And the reason why I had to speak those words is because on the very first trip in 1997, I was in that room by myself. And I heard these words, walk in my footsteps. And I looked around. I'm like, is he talking to me? And at that time, like I said, I was just a young student. I didn't know too much about W.E.B. Du Bois. But from that moment forward, I began to study him and study his life and study his contributions to the world. And so now, some 30 years later, when I was there, it's almost as if he met me again. Chills just went all over my body. I said, wow, he's recognizing my presence. And unlike the first time, young, naive, unsure of the world, unsure of my direction, when I came back this time, I came back loaded with gifts. I came back have walked as he directed me to in 1997 in his footsteps, as becoming the ambassador to the African Union, participating in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Pan-African Cultural Congresses, coming back as the ambassador to the African Academy of Languages, and so many other titles. I came back full, and I came back feeling as if I have fulfilled what he instructed me to do.
Mm.
And it was powerful. And not only did I feel it, the other people in the groups felt it. And they had not known what I had experienced the first time that I had gone there.
Okay, that's deep. That's
And
deep.
so
Yeah.
this is our first day. This is outside of the museum. Our group, we took pictures there with the bust of W.E.B. Du Bois. Then we went to the tomb of Kwame Nkrumah, which was the very first president of Ghana, who was one of the initiators of the OAU. Excuse me. He's also was a Pan-Africanist, and he sat and dealt with and talked with W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois was instrumental in aiding in the writing of the Constitution of Ghana. So we had to go and pay homage to these individuals. Let's see. Okay, this is us approaching the tomb of Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, these pictures aren't in order, so we're back at the Du Bois Museum. And this is us just taking in, they had a monument to all the great women around the world that had contributed to Pan-Africanism. And this is us with our tour guide telling us about the grounds and things like that.
How hot was the weather?
It was 75, 80. It wasn't really hot. It was, for me, 75 is, I consider that cold. But it was 75, 80 degrees. Sometimes maybe 81, 82, but it never did get really that hot. So we're pictured here in front of his tomb.
I see, hold on. I see that shirt. That's an A5A. Is that right?
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What's that doing there? Because he was an alpha.
I'm not sure.
But he was.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm an alpha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shameless plug, everybody.
And again, this is at the Kwame Nkrumah Museum. This is one of the vehicles that was owned by him. And this is the tomb of Kwame Nkrumah. I didn't have anything to say, or at least it wasn't recorded here. Lady's just taking. Okay, so you're gonna see a mixture.
Yeah. What is that?
But this was our first day. Places that we visited. That was the stadium that they have. They hold all the national addresses. You know, the president hold his national address at that stadium.
Okay.
And then this is a bust of Kwame Nkrumah. And this is our first meal in Africa at the Red Restaurant.
I got to stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of people getting to Africa and getting sick. And not that it couldn't happen anywhere. Not just taking your shots, but you have to kind of watch to make sure that they cooked it well, the meats and stuff like that. Maybe a little difference in there. There's not too much hot sauce. Is any of those things a concern?
Well, we're always cautioned to not so much eat the street food.
Okay.
But to make sure everything is well cooked. People can get sick all the time. One of the things one of the things that I advise my group to do uh, a day or two before we make the journey is to cleanse out your system, cleanse it out, so your system can start with new food and new drink that's foreign. So
Uh,
it's important what you eat and everything. And they followed that advice. And actually, when they got back, they said, okay, we're going to do it again. Because within a few days, you can tell the difference in your body as how the food is reacting to your body.
okay.
And it makes you kind of repulse American food. And because it's not real, it's just we eat so much artificial stuff that when you eat solid meals for a period of time, your body can tell the difference. And actually, we lost weight on the trip. On the average was about 7 pounds in the 2 weeks that we were there, and we actually ate more food than we would have eaten in the United States on a normal regular basis.
Okay.
So these are just various portraits of Kwame Nkrumah, different phases of his life. These are just artwork around the grounds. Okay. I want to, how do I go back? How do I get out of here? That's us still there at the Du Bois Center. I want us, oh, okay, I need to go back here. I want to talk about one important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, why you looking for it? So after Ghana, where'd you go?
after Ghana, we went to Togo.
How did you get there?
We went by road. We had hired a bus and
Okay.
we went by road because it's only from our last stop in Ghana, which was Keta, it's only an hour to the border.
Okay.
So like Detroit and Toledo.
Right.
And then from Togo, we went to Benin. And then from Benin, we actually went to Nigeria, came back to Benin, and we flew back to the US from Benin. But
When you go into those different countries, do you have to go through customs or any of that kind of thing?
yes, anytime you're going across the border, you have to go through customs and you have to present a visa, except for Nigeria. And this was a special exception. And the exception was that we were actually traveling with the mayor of Ajara. You remember back in June when we had the Juneteenth and I had
Yes.
invited some dignitaries. Well,
Yes.
he couldn't come. His visa was denied, but he still agreed to meet with us when we got to Benin.
Oh
So
man.
his city is right on the border of Benin. And as we were traveling to his city, I asked the question, well, how far is Nigeria? Because I seen the sign that said Nigeria that way. And he said, it's about 6 miles. I said, oh my God. I said, could you please just drive us to the border of Nigeria? We could say we seen Nigeria.
Okay.
He said, I could do better than that. And we drove to the border. He told us, sit here. He went and talked to the commandant and on the Benin side, and they went across the border and talked to the commandant and the powers that be on the Nigerian side. And he explained that he had this group of Americans that wanted to see into Nigeria and take pictures saying that, they wanted to step on Nigerian soil. And so without any identification, without any visas, without anything, we were granted permission to actually walk across the border and step foot into Nigeria. And so that was the last day of the trip. And that was the bonus because it was not planned. But when you know the right people, you can make things happen.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. So going back to Ghana, we participated in a renaming and reclaiming of our heritage and culture ceremony, where we were with the Queen Tassie III of the Jarira people. They took us through the ceremony to receive us back as Ghanaian people. And you'll see here in this picture where he's one of the chiefs of the village. And he poured libations to the ancestors, asking them permission to grant us a new name and graft us back into the family. So he poured out liquor 3 times in 3 different directions. And then he asked us to take a swallow. And he said that you drink the liquor to know that it's bitter, and that the truth is also bitter. And then he poured out water 3 times the same way as the liquor. And he said, now drink this water because water is sweet and you'll be able to tell the difference. So after doing that, then they did some prayers. And here they had a local herb, which I forget the name of, but they made a wreath of that herb and placed it around our necks. And that wreath is for protection. And they also made one to go on our wrist. And they gave us new names. So here, I'll make this bigger. Here, I was granted a new name and a new title, and welcomed into the royal, I can't even pronounce it, Albarazi family of Jarira, the Akinimum Amina certificate of membership, proudly presented to Anita Marie Jope, the Obahima, which is the queen, Adjua, which is born on a Monday, Kanzifo, which is leader. So I am the queen who was born on a Monday as a leader. And you can see I had draped around my certificate our kente cloth stoles. And here I am being greeted by another one of the village chiefs, welcoming us to the ceremony. And these are the 3 ladies after the naming ceremony, showing off their wreaths of protection upon their bodies and upon their wrists. Very special request. I had a high school classmate who graduated with me. Her son passed away this past January. And she asked me, would I take him to Africa with me to get his name? Because he always wanted to travel with me. He always wanted to go to Africa. So I didn't know the boundaries or understand, but I reached out to the queen and I said, I have a person that's no longer with us, but their mother wants them to get a African name. And so they told me to bring something that belonged to him. And so his sister gave me his favorite necklace and his obituary. And we presented that to the queen and the chief. And when I say that when they evoked his spirit, he came into that place, I felt the shivers go all up and down my spine. And he received his new name. the ladies with me, they felt it as well. It was a very powerful and moving ceremony for all of us to participate. And it makes me understand. We hear the old folks talk about I fly away. When Broderick, that's the young man, spirit was evoked, I understood that phrase because we're in a foreign land, but our spirits know how to go back home. He was there. He was present in spirit.
Mm.
So when we fly away back home. We may not know where it is or how it is in our fleshly bodies, but our spirit knows where to go back to.
Let me ask you this question: when you and I mean no disrespect for this, when you did this naming ceremony, did you had to call them in advance to make sure that they were available that day? I'm sure. And is there a charge to do it? May I ask that?
Yes, there is a charge. And we made prior arrangements for it to be done.
I got you.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they can't just do that for waste their time all day doing it
Right,
for free. That's understandable.
right.
Oh,
It was a minimum charge. It was not even anything expensive. So
really?
yes, it was minimal, you know. So it um it was minimal. So
Yeah, I got you.
mhm.
So much of what happens over there, and this is a question, is kind of based on spirits.
Mhm.
Is that correct? Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, the spiritual life is very is prevalent in the material life. They believe there's no separation between the spirit and the flesh. So um it's the cycle of life. The spirit is always present. The ancestors are always present. It's not like the only thing is that they don't have any physical form. And so
Inside the cities, are there markers of for God, or on religious purposes, like everywhere there's a cross or something like that that has that spiritual type component?
well, they do have Christian churches all over the place, even Jehovah Witnesses all over the place. But when you're talking about spiritual things, like what we participated in was a spiritual event carried out by the Jarira people, which would be markedly different if we were, say, with the Abe people.
I got you.
All
I got
have
you.
their own
I got you.
particular way that they do things based on their ethnicity.
I got you.
And they do have shrines or spiritual places. Actually, when we were in Benin, if you ever heard of the god of thunder and lightning, Shango, we went to the place that his spirit dwells. And I don't think I have any of those pictures up, but it's a big, huge, one of those big, huge baobab trees. Is just huge. And when you step on the grounds, you feel the power. You're like, ooh.
Hmm.
And so that's what we experienced while we were in Benin with the god of thunder and lightning.
I got you. As we come to a close, did you get bored at any point, or did you, or not even bored? Was there a moment where you had to rest from all this excitement?
Well, I've been doing this since 1997.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had to realize I was not that, 20-year-old, but at the same time, when you get home, you can get all your rest in.
So when you say you had to rest, I know the flight takes a lot out of you. Is there a lot of walking that you do, or
We
just going all the time?
we did a lot of walking. Um, we did do a lot of walking, which I had prepared the group for. I asked them to participate in some walks and do your exercising to build up your stamina and your endurance.
Okay.
But for the most part, um, it was okay because the average group member or the youngest group member was 61.
Okay.
So we maintained and we did very well. This is another key thing that I wanted to show the audience is the Assen Manso Slave River site. And this is, I think they said 40 kilometers, which I don't know how many miles that is, to Elmina Castle. But this is where our ancestors, if we find our DNA pool in Ghana, this is where they went to take their last bath. And as we are the diaspora reconnection, this is where we went and took our first bath to reclaim ourselves, reclaim our heritage at the ancestral river. So again, this was part of the ritual to put clay upon us. And this is the walk. And we get to the river. And they just guided us into speaking your mind, speaking your heart, asking whatever it is that you want to see happen and come to pass. And then they guided us to speak positive, strong affirmations to one another, to speak blessings over each other's life. And this was our tour guide, Kofi. And he says that because we have returned, the ancestors are happy and they wanted us to go and cry no more. And it was a very powerful and moving moments for our group. Some of us broke down and cried. There were many emotions, frustration, disappointment, everything that our ancestors may have experienced. We experienced it. But in the end, we were able to rejoice. In the end, we were able to feel victory because when they said that they would take us into slavery perpetually, we, by our presence there, proved that that was a lie, that we cannot be held in bondage forever and ever and ever and ever. No, it cannot be. So
Did y'all walk in the water?
We didn't walk in the water. We walked to the water, and some of us, got our feet wet in the water. And myself, I baptized myself by bringing water up above my head and let it fall down in the water, that I may be cleansed of everything from the U.S. So you can see a picture there of me bending down, gathering the water.
Now, what happened there? So the slaves walked through that, took a bath, and then on the other end is where they actually got documented to get to the ships.
Right. They took their last bath because they had been trekked inland, sometimes 2,000, 3,000 miles. They were coming from East Africa. They were coming from South Africa. They were coming from miles and miles around. And so they were cleaned up. And then after this bath, they would march down to the Elmina dungeon or this Fort George's dungeon, whichever dungeon that they were earmarked to go to. They would take them down there and be boarded on the ships.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. I guess is there another something in particular, because we're running out of time just a tad.
Uh,
Incredible.
that's it. That's it.
Okay.
The
Okay.
major highlights of Ghana was to reclaim ourselves,
Yes.
to go to that last bath, to go to the dungeons, that type of thing. We
Yes. I
reclaimed
got you.
ourselves. Let me very quickly. Um, when we went to Togo, we were met at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So we had an audience with them. This is Mawina, a Mawina Institute. He has an institute in Atakopame, which I visited, I think, some 8 years ago. We held a conference there, but he came down this time to meet our group. And here we're pictured with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. We were able to talk about the what it means for the diaspora to come back. And my message to him was to make Africa, Togo in specific, ready for us to come back, because they don't know their history. They don't know the history of the slave trade. It's not taught in the schools. So they have an idea, oh, all Americans are rich, and some of them make it unsavory for us to come because they just want to turn us over as salt shakers, turn us over like salt shakers, and try to get all what money they can get out of us. And there's no real, true reconnection. So that was a very good conference to sit and talk with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Here, dressed in white, we were able to go to the Glidgy Festival. And the Glidgy Festival is like a coming home festival where the people of the village come back every 2 years to atone for their sins. And in doing so, in doing so, oh, right here, we had to go and pay our respects to the king. In going to pay our respects to the king in the village of Aniho, we find out that is this kingdom that was responsible for the slave trade. So my question becomes, did you invited us here for the atonement of our sins? Have you all atoned for your sins and participating in the slave trade? That's the question that I wanted to know. So I had very mixed feelings about being there, but we participated anyway. Here you see, these are the Tongbes, or the high priests, kings, and chiefs of the Glidgy people. So they welcomed us and made a cursory apology for the slave trade.
Mm.
So
Okay.
here's, it's right there on the water. Then we visited the House of Slaves. Yeah. So we visited where they held the slaves in a city called Brogdon. So the kingdom and Aniho was in charge of the slaves that went through this port. They were held here before they were marched out in this, the country of Togo.
Okay.
So we uncovered their portion of the slave trade.
Wow.
And then lastly, we went to Benin. And like I stated before, we met with the mayor of Adjara, as well as the dean of the University of Abomey Calavi. We visited the Amazon as well as Lake Gambie. What is significant about this place is that it's inhabited about 30,000 people. These people went out into the water to avoid being captured during the slave trade. And this is us here with the mayor of Ajara. I don't even have the pictures of the monument of Ouida, which is the port in Benin that many of our ancestors went through in that part of the world.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
So we reconnected with key people, the universities, the ethnic groups, the spiritual groups of Africa.
Beautiful. Everybody, this is Strong Inspirations, where you see what I'm doing through the people who come on the show. And this sister got an open door policy anytime. And I'm gonna stop right there. Only in this regard, you alluded to earlier that you gotten some more awards or something like that in the last couple months, right?
Yes.
Well, tell us about them, and then that's gonna close us out.
Yeah, I mentioned it when we did the naming ceremony. I became the Obahima of the Jarira people, so I picked up another queen title amongst all of my title. I think that was the 6th title as queen.
Wow, there you go. So you know you got to hit the like button now, my friend, since we got the queen 6 times over. Oh my God, that's a beautiful thing. So like I say, hit the like button, hit the love button, hit the they know love button. Hit the subscribe button, get the notifications bell, and tell somebody about Strong Inspirations. My own little personal thing is go to my website, businessintheblack.net, where you can order my book and find out about where I'm speaking and invite me to come speak to your town. Please do that, my friends. Take that down because I don't know if they can see me with you and share, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody, it's me again. What the queen 6 times over, my friends. We don't play coming out of this town with the people that come on this show. So do all those things. Go to businessintheblack.net. What are your websites? How do people follow you?
www.arhf.net.
There you go. Go there, and then all of her stuff will be there. I'm sure she's going to look to do another tour sometime real soon, and even herself go back. And I'm gonna tag along one day because if I can go with her, I know I'm going on the easy jet. So on and so forth. How about this? And I mean this with all sincerity. I want you to stay strong, stay safe, stay on your grind. I love what you've done, how you had those dreams, you followed through. You even told W.E. Du Bois, and he heard you.
Yes.
And he understood because it's so true. In closing this out, how do you say goodbye in any one of the languages from any other countries that you so see fit?
Why, Harry, Ya Kukaona, goodbye until we meet again.
Boom, there it is, everybody. Thank you so very much. I'll be in touch.
Bye-bye.